Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. It is absolutely freezing here. It took me about half an hour to warm the office up. So, what I wanted to go through with you guys this morning was about closing a deal. Now, this can count for when you're selling a car, when you're selling a restoration, basically everything. I mean, if you listen to some of the stuff that I talk about, I think that things in business are exactly the same as things in life. You have to close on everything that you do, whether you just want to close on somebody's opinion or whatever it is that you know that you're doing, you still need to close. Now, the reason that these 5 tips that I'm going to share with you now in this video relate to closing is because I think that it's really important that we call it closing. Now, this is the way that I see a deal coming together, whatever it is. So you basically start with the part where you're selling, and lots of people know how to do that. I used to know how to do that, but I didn't know how to close, and the people were the potential customers were buying from me, but we don't want that. We want to be selling to them. So you start off by selling, then you move into the closing part of the transaction, and then after that is when you get paid. Smiley face, because that's the good bit, when we get paid at the end. So I think the important thing is that we need to be clear that this is definitely about closing. This is not selling, that is a completely different thing. So here are my 5 best tips on it. So the first one is to close the door on the price. So many customers want to get into that backwards and forwards, bounce backwards. It's £1,000, it's £950, it's £850, it's this, it's this, it's this. Sometimes the best way to get past this is just to tell them what's the best price that you can do, if there is a price other than the advertised price, and then just finish on that. So I can do this car for £9,000. That is all I'm going to be able to do. I cannot offer any more. That's my best deal. Get it out there, get it closed, get it finished. Don't mess about over those bits. If you hear me talk before, you'll know one of my biggest beliefs is that price is never really the objection. People don't not buy things because of the price. They just use price as an excuse. So we've done all our selling, we get into the close, and then we tell them, this is all I can do on the price, this is all it is. That's important, because they want to get into this back and forth, and we want to control the situation as the person that's doing the selling. Okay, so the second tip. Now, this is a tip that I use in buying, selling, absolutely everything. It is one of my biggest tips on how to get on in business and life. So always agree. Never, ever, ever disagree with them. Okay, so let me give you an example of this, because it's one I hear all the time. I heard somebody saying it, talking to one of my colleagues yesterday. I probably hear it 4 or 5 times in a day. You're so expensive, you're so expensive. Your car's twice the price of the car down the road that's exactly the same. And the answer to that should be, yes, it is expensive, it's a lot of money, but it's great value for money. It's not the same as the other car because it's a much better product. Don't come back and say, your car's really expensive. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just always agree. You know, I don't like the colour of this. Okay, yeah, great. We don't like the colour either. We'll change the colour for you. Here's the paperwork. Let's go ahead with this deal. Just always agree. It doesn't mean that you're not going to move it forward, but as soon as you put up that wall and block people and disagree with something that they're saying, you automatically start to turn things into a negative situation. So always agree is something that I would use in buying, in selling, and like I said, just generally everywhere. It's just an easier way to keep things fluid and keep them moving forward. So that always agree is one of my the greatest things that I can give you. Remember that one. Okay, the third one. So pre-closing. So this is quite good, because what this means is that you can go through a selling situation if you're not careful, and it goes on, and you're telling them how great the product is and how much work you've put in and all of these different things, and then you sort of get to the end and there's nothing that really caps it. So what you can do is through the selling process, so let's take that you're selling someone a car, so all the way through the process you're showing them the great things that you do, you're telling them about how good the product is and you know how much they're going to enjoy using it, and you're selling because that's the bit that you're passionate about. If you're in this industry, you're passionate about what you do, and I would hope, you know, I would hope you are anyway. All the people that I have that sell in this classic car industry are passionate about what they do, and so the selling bit comes easy because they're passionate about it. What you need to be careful of, what you need to try and do, is be pre-closing all the way through that sale. So you might be asking somebody, you know, are you ready to make a decision? Have I given you enough information that you're ready to make a decision? You know, do you see any problems? Do you see any problems with this product? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? So you're drawing out their objections and you're getting them to a point where you can actually sit down at the table and get them to sign the paperwork. That's where we want to get to. But you want to use those little indicators all the way through. You don't want to wait for them to come up with their problems right at the end. You want to draw them out on the way through. So have you seen enough? Are you ready to make a decision? It'll also help you to get things out of, like, you know, no, I need to check the finance, or no, I need to do this. So always be using those little pre-closes all the way through to bring it down. It brings us as the seller into control of the situation, rather than being controlled by somebody where we're just sell, and then at the end they're like, maybe I'll buy, maybe I won't buy, because you're drawing those questions out of them. You know, things like, looks like you really enjoy this product, looks like you really love this car, how would you, you know, where would you be using it, that type of thing. We're just drawing them closer to the close and to this bit. Because at the end of the day, if you don't get to here, all of this is just an absolute waste. That's why closing is so important, and so many people don't use it or know about it. Okay, so point number 4, and this one I didn't used to use, but it really helps. So get it in writing. So what I mean by this is that it has to be written down. It's pretty straightforward, but let me give you an example. So at the end of a deal, when I've got to the point that I've sat them at the table, I've got the paperwork out, I'm ready to close on it, I used to sort of, you know, it'd be a bit wishy-washy, take a deposit, give them a copy of the proposal. Whereas now, the second that I get it there, I'm like, print out a final receipt, get a full signature, get the details of what they've paid, when they're going to pay it, and give it to them. Because so many people at the end of a deal sort of drift in and out of the sale. You know, you think you've got them and then they go in and then they're not. So now I'm just like, right, there you go, there's the paperwork, we've agreed it, signed, thank you, done. It doesn't, you know, you just have to cap it off, because at that point they're all over the place. And once it's signed, once they've signed on the line and done it, and you've put the card through the machine or taken the cash or whatever it is, this particular deal you're putting together, you need to do it like that. But never just do it verbally or walk away from it, or, you know, whatever. Don't leave it to chance, because no matter how enthusiastic they might seem about it, you need to get it in writing, and that'll make a difference, because in their mind as well, then it's absolutely done and dusted at that point. So always get it in writing. Also, people really believe what they see that's written down, much more than they do when it's verbally. So if you write down, you know, the prices and all the different things that are included and print it out for them and they sign it, you're much more likely to have a completely successful deal. Okay, so point number 5. Be happy. Hopefully you guys can read this. But I'll type it in the comments underneath at the end as well. My writing's getting worse as it gets lower down the page. Can you read that? I'm just trying to see. Hopefully you can. I'll type it in. But anyway, be happy with objections. So again, this is really important. So it's a natural thing that you ask someone for something and they say no, no chance, no way, and you're a bit taken back for it. But you need to learn to be happy with those objections and take them completely on board. So you know, objections can be anything from somebody, again, talking about the price that you need to agree with. It doesn't mean that this person isn't a buyer. When somebody's objecting, don't take it with a pinch of salt, because it normally means something different. When I said to you earlier about that money is never the objection, or rarely the objection, you know, it's important to take that on board. If somebody says your car is 10 grand, and the ones that they think the same down the road is 7 grand, that's £3,000 more. Yeah, I know, I agree it's £3,000 more. £3,000 is a lot of money, but this is better value. We're a better company, we're going to look after you, and so it's actually £3,000 investment in a better product, is not £3,000 extra. But just be confident to deal with those objections, instead of thinking, oh crap, how am I going to find 3 grand to do a better deal for this person? Oh, I can't do 3 grand. Oh no, it's over. Oh, I'm going to freeze up and everything falls apart. Be open to the objections, you know. Somebody comes in, I've got 30 minutes, I'm on my lunch, that's all I've got. Okay, great, 30 minutes is all I need. I can show you around, we can do this in 30 minutes, let's go. You know, be happy to deal with those objections, because otherwise if you start looking at things in a negative way and you know you don't take those on board, you'll just have deals that end up falling apart. So let's just go over this quickly again. So what we've talked about here is all about this part of the deal, the close. So selling is all about, this is a great product, you'll love it, we've put loads of work into it, you know, it's the best one in the world. That's what the selling part is. Moving on from that, you move into the close, which is what we're talking about today. And unless you do that part, unless you close the deal, the customer will close on you on their terms for a start, or you won't make it to this point. And like I said at the beginning, if you don't get to this point, you are absolutely wasting your time on everything else that's in there. You have to be able to do the close. So number 1, closing the door on price. Number 2, always agree. Super tip, always agree. Number 3, pre-close. So set them up all the way through, get them ready to close. Number 4, get it in writing. Always get it in writing. Number 5, be happy to deal with any objections that people give you, because everybody that comes in, everybody that contacts you, they are a buyer. They don't just ring up because they've got nothing else to do. They ring up because they are a buyer. And if it falls through, it's your fault, it's my fault. It's not their fault, they are a buyer. They're not, you know, even if they say they're just browsing, they're not. So there you go, guys. That is my 5 best tips on closing a deal. I hope you find it useful. Comment and tell me what else you want to know about. I would love to give you any more value that I can. Post as much as you can in the group, and I will see you soon. Have a fantastic day. See you later.